In this video, you'll see how you can provision and deploy resources on Google Cloud using GitLab and Terraform. I'm Renard Raquedan, a Senior Partner Solutions Architect at GitLab, and I help partners and customers alike learn more about the tight integration between GitLab and Google Cloud and how to make the most out of the two platforms. Let's take a quick look at the architecture of the demo project. We have two repositories hosted on gitlab.com. The first one contains the Terraform configuration language files that will provision the resources onto Google Cloud. And the second one is the application repository, which contains the application that will be deployed onto those resources that we'll provision using Terraform. Now on to the prerequisites. You need a Google Cloud project. You need a service account that contains the permissions needed to provision the resources, mainly on the compute side. And finally, a GitLab project to host your Terraform and application files. The demo will have four main steps. The first step is to connect your GitLab project to your Google project using the credentials from the service account. The second step is to develop the Terraform code. The third step is to write the CI/CD pipeline that will in turn go to the fourth step, which will deploy that onto Google Cloud. Now let's begin. The first step is to connect our GitLab project to Google Cloud using the service account I had created prior. I had generated the JSON key of that service account with the proper permissions, and I'll embed that as a variable in the environment variables section of GitLab right here, using this very special prefix tf_var. GitLab will recognize that as a Terraform variable, and that will be injected into the Terraform variables that we will be using later. Let's now take a look at the two main Terraform files of the project. The first one contains a description of the virtual machine that will contain the web server and the files of our web application. Now, I'd like to highlight line number 7, which contains argument credentials, and this will carry the value of the environment variable that we had created prior. Okay, so this is source code for that. And then also the variables.tf file, which contains the variables for our main Terraform project. And I made the machine type of the virtual machine a variable, which we can tweak and change in future iterations. And then the location in where the source code of the applications will be moved or copied to once we clone the repository. Okay, so now let's go to the pipeline via the pipeline editor at the GitLab UI. Now it's a very short file because it's using the Terraform templates right here. And it's very convenient because we're not creating from scratch. This will define the jobs and stages that will deploy the Terraform project onto Google Cloud. Now I just need to add a few lines that will define the state and the cache key right here. And then I added this stage that will add the destroy stage for cleanup when we are done with our cloud resources. As you can see, I've run the pipeline and completed the jobs that are included on the Terraform template. Now this job is has a manual step which I need to act upon. This will deploy the cloud resources after the Terraform files have been validated and run. So this is pretty much the Terraform apply job. Now we'll just wait. I'm now at the Google Cloud console. I can see that the virtual machine with the web server has been created. What I need to do is copy the IP address, create a new tab, put it here, and as you can see, this is the application up and running and available online. And that concludes our demo. We saw how GitLab can help you provision and deploy resources on Google Cloud with Terraform. And with GitLab's single platform, you can do all of these with efficiency, speed, and security.